Music therapy is a psychological and a functional therapy for people with all sorts of problems, issues, particular times in their life that they're struggling with.
So you might have an adult with learning disabilities who suffered a bereavement, who might not be able to access a talking therapy like counselling because maybe they're non-verbal. So something like music therapy can be used instead. So that will be very much the music therapist accompanying and playing with that person. So there would be a whole selection of instruments in the room, and using that as a way for them to express how they're feeling without the need for words. At Chiltern Music Therapy, we do that type of work, but we also use music therapy as a functional therapy. So that's using the way that music's processed in the brain to help people with physical rehabilitation, to help them with speech and communication, and also to help them with cognition and learning skills.
Sometimes they use music therapy in hospitals, sometimes they use music therapy in schools, sometimes it's community settings, other times it's inpatient kind of ward settings.
So when you're working within mental health and learning disabilities, you'd probably use things like improvisation. So again, that's really looking at what instruments the client picks up, and then the music therapist would accompany them on their instrument, which might be voice, piano, guitar, anything like that. You might also use techniques like songwriting, so writing a song from scratch, or doing a song parody, so you use a song that's already there, but you change the lyrics to something meaningful. With neurologic music therapy, which we also practice, we will do things to help with speech that might be about leaving blanks in a familiar song to help the brain try and process that word.
It can, a typical music therapy session could involve some sort of activity where everyone is brought together in the room. So with little children, sometimes that's a nice hello song to say hello to everyone in the room, get everyone playing and singing together. Sometimes with adults, that's an activity where everyone plays together, either the same song or something that's familiar. And then we usually have a number of activities such as song singing, songwriting, improvisation with percussion, guitars, keyboards, iPads, technology, and we do lots of different things to work on emotional well-being, motor skills, cognition, and speech and language and communication. So it really depends on who we're working with as to what those activities might be. If we're working, for instance, with a group of elderly patients with Parkinson's or dementia, we might look at doing more familiar song singing activities that work on reminiscence, so things that are either sustaining the memory or improving them. With children, we might have more game type activities where we work on turn taking, or activities where you have to focus and listen for particular cues in music. And then at the end of every session, we conclude with a familiar song. So again, with children, that's usually like Vice or something, and with adults, again, it could be a familiar song.
I would say the main goal for music therapy is to help that person with whatever area they're having problems in. So for some people that might be emotional well-being, and for other people that might be to improve strength in their right hand side. So we would always be led by what the client need is. So rather than saying, we think you need to be better at this, but the best way to probably describe it is always the non-musical aim. So that's the main difference, and that's where people sometimes get muddled. Is rather than saying, well, the purpose of music therapy is for you to learn this song, it would be actually the purpose of music therapy for this person is to help them with their speech and communication. So no, we would probably say listening to music is something that's quite rare in music therapy. That's what we would call receptive music therapy. Generally speaking, we would use the instruments are there, so that might be percussion and keyboard, but the therapist is likely to be on the keyboard, and the client would be on drums if we're working on hand-eye coordination for them, for example. So generally speaking, for us as an organisation, we use familiar songs, so whatever the client prefers or whatever's familiar to them, and also whatever's culturally appropriate for them. and also improvised music as well.
I think it's a combination of both active music making and receptive listening to music, particularly when you look at the brain's responses to music. When you put people through an MRI scanner and they're just listening to music, many people thought that the music was processed in a particular part of the brain, but actually when they looked at the images from MRI, every single area of the brain was all lit up. So in simply just listening to music, every single area of our brain, we're processing language because of the words, we're looking at the midbrain because of the emotions and the memories, we're listening to the meter and our brain's kind of ticking along with it subconsciously. So in that respect, receptive music can be a really nice simple baseline of engaging someone in that neurological process. But also there's lots of evidence out there about how musicians' brains and people that can play musical instruments are extremely more developed than a neurotypical person, because when we're musicians we're constantly using logic, planning, executive functioning skills, motor skills. I mean, if you're a violin player, I can just, only because I'm not a violin player, I just think that's an amazing ability to be able to move your fingers over all of those notes. And practice as well, so the act of repeating music making really helps. It helps the brain and the body, because you practice feeling good, or you practice putting your expression into music, and also you practice listening, which is a massive skill that you need with being a musician. So the part of the brain that deals with emotions, I believe is called the amygdala, which is situated in the midbrain. So that's the part that stores up your long-term memory, and it helps with short-term memory, so what you remember within a few hours, and also instant memory recall. So when music is processed in this area, we're really literally retrieving memories when we're listening to the music.
It's just another night, and I'm staring at the moon. I saw a shooting star and thought of you. I sang a lullaby by the waterside. I knew if you were here, I'd sing to you. I wonder, do you see them too? So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these, so I take your hand right through lightless streets, and you, everything led back to you. So can you see the stars? Oh, I'm still
It gets hard every day. Say you love me more than you did before. And I'm sorry it's this way, but I'm coming home. I'll be coming home. And if you ask me, I will stay. I will stay. Choose you, so I'll stay. Please love the way you stay. You're the one that I hold on to, 'cause my heart would stop without you.
Oh my god, this one breaks my heart. I could already tell that it's sad.
Shadows settle on the place that you left.
Her voice as
Our
well.
minds are troubled by the emptiness. Destroy the middle, it's a waste waste of time.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yes, it did.
Sad. Okay.
Yeah, kind of.
In the middle. Because it was the saddest song that I heard.
Probably the second song, because the first song you're kind of like not really in the mood, if you know what I mean. But then once you get more into it, the all kind of go into one. It's just like a longer period of being sad.
In the middle of the song, when the beat came.
You.
About halfway through the second song, it started actually like getting my mindset into the momentum of the sad song.
All of the stars.
The second one, so it was Just Say Something.
Miley Cyrus one, definitely.
Probably All of the Stars.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, like I would listen to them normally as well. So yeah, they were.
For you.
I liked it, but I probably wouldn't listen to it generally.
All of the stars, because it's from The Fault in Our Stars and it's super sad. Yes. Big type of person.
No, I think even if you didn't like the song, you'll still get sad, just because of like the melody in general. So you don't, even if you don't really listen to the lyrics either, just the whole of it, it's just sad.
I think so. I would imagine most people would get sad listening to a kind of a sad playlist with sad songs. So I would say yes.
Yeah, I think if you're in a bad mood or something, then possibly, but it just depends on the mood they're in.
Sometimes, but mostly it just makes you want to cry because it reminds you of sad things.
I don't know. Like, what, personally, if I was sad, I wouldn't listen to sad songs since it would make me more sad.
Probably worse because it would make me think of more sad things.
I think it makes you feel worse.
The song just, oh.
If you love somebody, better tell them what they hear, 'cause they just may run away from you. But don't look down, 'cause I'm on top of the world, hey. I'm on top of the world, hey. Waiting on this world all now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, hey.
I like these songs.
Hold my hands so high and throw my when Monday comes, forever counts. Last night. Do it all again. So tell your friends, tell a friend that they had last night. Do it all again. Do it all again. By the end of the night, they had last night. Now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile. I'm holding it for a while. Take me with me and out there. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. I've tried to cut these corners. Got to the moon and jumped out of bed. Put on on a holiday. You got me thinking that we can run away. You wanna take it there? You tell me when and where.
Yes.
It did. It really did.
Yes.
Yes.
At the end, when it was too overwhelming with the happiness.
When last night started.
The first song.
Yeah, first song.
Definitely the first song.
Don't stop at 5 seconds.
I think Don't Stop or Last Night.
On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons, particularly.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Well, best day of my life is very, very fun.
No, not really. They're all equally.
Do you think?
The Imagine Dragons song, I think really, I like that. I like the band, so it's really good.
Well, yeah, it depends on if they like these types of songs. Probably for adults, no, but you never know.
I think so. Like the melody and everything's just like it's really catchy as well.
I think yes, just generally the beat of the song and it makes people happy.
Sunday morning rain is all I am is a man. I want the world in my hands. Come down, one night, 2 months, 1 love, 1 house. No shirt, no blouse, just like C5 now. Nothing I won't tell you about. No. My face above the water. My feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like I can see the sands on the horizon every time. Easy to love me.
Yes.
You relaxed.
Yeah.
Yes.
It did. Yeah.
Yes.
At the beginning, because at the end it got me very bored.
Probably like the second song because like with the first song you're still kind of like in the mood.
Almost right away.
Never seen anything by the script.
Sunday morning and Sweater Weather because
Definitely Waves, I think.
Sweater Weather because it was a bit more upbeat, so.
Do you think?
no, they were all equally like relaxing. You know.
Yes, but it got a bit boring after a while.
Yeah.
Mostly yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but not kids because they'll just get bored.
Relaxed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I do think so.
And
this is where I proved what I had thought about music all along. It helps us in every way possible. It helps us physically with things like music therapy, and it helps us emotionally, as you have seen in this video. Where words fail, music speaks.